For the final countdown, and then the 5-second board to be shown, and then it will be red lights on ahead of 20 minutes of racing. Revs are rising, there are the red lights, out they go, and who's made the best of the starts? Well, it's a good start from Rich Miles. You've got Clint Newman trying to forge his way through from the second row of the grid. He's got himself into the lead of the race already as they head off up towards Redgate Corner for the first time. It is Newman that is ahead, or is he? Ryan Yarrow looks to be trying to make up some ground as well around the outside of Rich Miles. I think he's through second place, so it's Newman leading, Yarrow second. This is exciting. Third place Rich Miles. Fourth is Chippy Wesmail in the Mattel, just getting up on the inside of the other Mattel of number 2 Dan Clues.
That's right, it looks like Cutmore's to the front, or to second in Cup 200. Richard Webb's gained loads of places. Cutmore probably the favourite for the Cup 200 title. It was Whiteman Hayward who was on the grass at the start, his rival, and Newman is defending. He's side by side with Yarrow. It started already as they head up towards Coppet, and that is going to allow Rich Miles back into this. He's on the inside. It is very tight. Newman is defended very heavily already, but he's still in front as they come out of Coppet's corner. Wesmail returning to racing, coming back at everybody. He's going third as Yarrow is inside. Newman doesn't like people alongside him. He is still ahead of everybody. Ryan Yarrow is waving his arms around. Oh dear, we've got 18 minutes and 40 seconds of this to go in.
Chippy Wesmail has taken second place. Dan Clues has got up to third, so the Mattel's now going after the leading spire of Clint Newman, who's got a big lead now, and who's locking up? That is the 44 car.
Carl Austin.
Is it not? Of Carl Austin has a big lock-up on the way into the Melbourne hairpin. It's Ryan Yarrow trying to get those places back now, but he's right up against Dan Clues in the Mattel, who outbrakes himself, and so too does Chippy Wesmail. Another Chippy Wesmail mistake. Richard Morris, who raced against Chippy a few years ago, said he was surprised to see for the first time ever a Chippy Wesmail mistake. He never made those when he was racing against Richard, and now he's made 2 already.
Cup 200 is absolutely together, side by side in the background. There's John Cutmore alongside Richard Webb, so that's a good battle to watch. The Sports 1000 cars, and another mistake from Wesmail is wide. He was really sideways. That car looks a little bit hard to handle. They're free abreast, heading down the Craner curves. Paul Rogers, who might be in his last ever race today, is involved in all of this. I wonder if it's cold tyres in, because of course they don't have a green flag lap. It's super cold today, and the cars are really skittish on this, even on this second lap.
Just to say, in the Cup 200 points-wise, coming into this, John Cutmore, 141 points to Whiteman Hayward, 132 on drop score, so 9 points ahead in the Sporting Cup for drivers that don't finish in the top 6. It's basically, top 3, isn't it? Colin Chapman is
Rogers is spinning. Chippy Wesmail was involved in that. Not sure if there was a touch or not, but Wesmail had to go through the gravel to avoid the spinning Paul Rogers. So this has not ended how Paul Rogers would like his last race to have ended, in a long, successful racing career, really, a former champion. He has got out of the gravel though, as has Wesmail. So they're both out of the gravel, so that's good news.
Should be interesting to see what they can both do then, because they've both got a lot of work to do. They've gone pretty much to the back of the field, haven't they?
That's right. Cole Austin's going well, isn't he? Although he had that lock up at this point a lap ago, he's right with Rich Miles, and they head then up towards the final corner at Goddard's.
Clint Newman has got a red. Has he got a penalty symbol? I'll have a look and see what that is for.
Oh, Miles has gone wide, so Cole Austin goes through, and a spin for Richard Webb. You don't see him make mistakes very much either, and that has just happened. So that puts John Cutmore to the lead of the Cup 200. And Ian?
10-second penalty for Clint Newman. I'm presuming that is for a jump start or an out of position start. So Clint Newman will have 10 seconds added to his time. Just getting the thumbs up from the clerk of the course who's poked his head around the door. Thank you. And so Clint Newman with that 10-second penalty for an out of position start. That's now appearing on the timing screen as well. And
on our live streaming pictures too. So we've got it from all angles. So Ryan Yarrow then is the leader in reality from Clues by 1.5 seconds. Cole Austin could be on for a podium here. Cole did get a podium at Silverstone earlier on the season, went really well there. There's Colin Chapman. So how's the Sporting Cup?
Well, he was 10 points ahead of Charlie Sladden coming into this race, so providing he sort of stays one place behind Charlie Sladden as he is at the moment, and Colin Chapman wins the Sporting Cup, I think, for a second successive year. He didn't win it last year. It was Richard Webb. He certainly won it a couple of years ago, I think.
Oh, you could bizarrely Richard Webb won it, although in a Cup 200 car,
yes,
of course,
right.
1 year ago. So here are the Cup 200 leads, and Cutmore's car is smoking. What's going on here? Is that a wheel arch, isn't it? Rubbing against the tyre. Did you not have this at Oulton? Did I see some pictures of
possibly, yes,
of a problem similar? This could bring Mike Whiteman-Hayward into a championship position, potentially, if that problem causes a larger problem than it is at the moment for John Cutmore.
Whiteman-Hayward did finish a few places ahead of Cutmore to overturn Cutmore's advantage, I think, here.
Depends how big of a problem this turns into.
Exactly. So Cutmore it is, the blue car there, then you've got the red car, Whiteman-Hayward behind.
Is that Wayne Armstrong, Cutmore's teammate, that just went grass track? But there is Cutmore. Is this a big problem or not to worry about for the three-time RGB class champion, John Cutmore? Well, Mike Whiteman-Hayward, who got his first class win at Oulton Park earlier in the year, is right behind him. Interestingly, in Cup 200, I think we've had something like 6 different winners this year, remarkably. Really competitive category. Whiteman-Hayward on the inside can't quite get Cutmore there. The Sport 1000 car, Ian Hutchinson, is involved. Richard Webber, who spun a lap ago, has almost re-caught them. And then behind him is Chippy Westmale and Paul Rogers. So lots of people have had problems in this race, are all involved behind the Cup 200 leaders. Here comes Westmale down the inside of Richard Webb.
Yeah, and gets through. And next target is going to be the number 69 car of Hutchinson, therefore, as he tries to make his way back up towards the top 10. He should be there very shortly now. Whiteman-Hayward there was challenging Cutmore for the Cup 200 lead, but I think they're both about to be passed by Chippy Westmale. He's having a look up the inside into Coppice, and just remember the points are scored for the Cup 200 on their overall finishing position in the race as well. It's not a separate class in that sense.
Interestingly, Dan Clues has set the fastest lap. Not sure if we've mentioned that. He's 1.2 behind Ryan Yarrow, so that could be a battle developed for our race win. Clues has only won once this season, which came at Snetterton. Cup 200, top 3 together now, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. So Richard Webb, who was last year's Cup 200 and Sporting Cup winner, he is right with them as well. He's not done all of the races this year though. He's in the white car. The red car is Whiteman-Hayward. The blue car is Cutmore, and it looks like Whiteman-Hayward has gone through into the lead there of that particular battle. So he goes ahead now of Cutmore, but now he needs to put some cars between himself and his rival. It looked like also Richard Webb was going to try and make a move as well as they headed up towards Goddard that time. Meanwhile, Dan Clues and they're pretty much. Oh, Cutmore's got back ahead, it would seem. So great scrap going on, and they really lend themselves well to slipstreaming racing as well. These cars, don't they? They're Suzuki Hayabusa engine, but you can see it's a 7 style car, MK Indy built chassis. But they battle and really closely and chopping and changing positions all the time. And of course they've got some of the Sports 1000 cars here right behind them, the Superbike engine cars. It's Cutmore, Webb now to second, Whiteman-Hayward third.
I thought Webb was going to go around the outside of 2 cars and the crane occurred, which I'm not sure has ever happened before. Charlie Sladden and Richard Miles are in the pit.
Oh, and problems for Rich Webb now. His car smoking. I don't think that was just a wheel arch like it was on Cutmore's car. No, it might be actually.
Yeah.
And it just needs to sort of work its way off, I think, if it can possibly help it.
Did you see Webb smack the curb on the inside of the corner to try and dislodge him? I'm not sure that actually worked. So this is a bigger problem that may develop. But yeah, I'm not sure why Charlie Sladden pitted from what was 5th place and Rich Miles was 6th. Were they perhaps involved in a problem? So that should go definitely give Colin Chapman the Sporting Cup. There they are.
There they are. Sladden retired from yesterday's race as well, if you remember, right just before the checkered flag. There's Rich Webb, but you can see the smoke pouring off as the bodywork is fouling the tyre. He's still trying to go past Mike Whiteman-Hayward, and he's done it as well. He's a very accomplished racer, Rich Webb. He's been a Sports 1000 champion as well a few years ago. Ryan Yarrow's now done the best lap into the 137, so 137.778. That's the fastest lap of the weekend so far, and he's now to within 1.1 seconds of Clint Ewan, who of course does have that 10-second penalty hanging over him as well.
It's a problem for Yarrow. He's going to. Oh, there goes the tyre, the wheel arch rather.
That was precision, wasn't it?
Oh, Westmale's done the fastest lap now, 37.4. But yeah, the problem for Yarrow is he's going to catch Newman, and that will probably hold him up. And Dan Clues could catch for the win, so that is still on, I think. And Yarrow and Clues' lap times have basically been identical. So Richard Webb has now got quite a big gap to John Cutmore ahead. So Cutmore getting away as Webb tried to sort out his wheel arch, which he has now done. It's been quite a battle though, hasn't it? With the Sport 1000 runners and the Cup 200 cars all involved in this.
It's been really exciting, hasn't it? I imagine if you've been able to think of that battle, it's been tremendous fun.
Chris Wilkinson not far behind, so he's running well. in the fourth of the Cup 200 cars. Here are top three includes. It's definitely catching Ryan Yarrow on this lap. The gap was 1.2 seconds.
And Yarrow also catching Clint Newman as well, although that's a little bit more academic, because Clint Newman does have that penalty hanging over him.
Unless something happens in the race, and
well,
rather less than
exactly. But really, Ryan Yarrow and Dan Clues, they can just battle between themselves. They don't need to worry about Clint Newman.
I wonder if that's why Yarrow's dropped back on this lap from Newman, because he caught it by half a second on the previous lap. He hasn't done that this time. He just wants to battle with Dan Clues, and that will be all fine for a race win. So down into the final corner they come, the Spire and the Mattel. Yarrow 34 from Manchester, Clues 50 from Newcastle, for the Manchester versus Newcastle battle here. And on the road leader, Clint Newman, he's got that 10-second penalty, not for the first time this year, overhanging him leading on the circuit. So there is Yarrow, who is going to be champion again. It'll be his fourth title this year, Ian.
Yeah, that's right. Newman at the moment will be third if it stays this way, because there's now a 12-second gap from him back to Carl Austin in fourth position. Colin Chapman is fifth, Chippy Westmail back up to sixth now.
So if it finishes as it is, it'll be the same podium as yesterday, and that's very dull, isn't it, when you look at it on the screen?
Did you notice that Paul Rogers had retired?
No, because he was going with Westmail for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But, Richard Webb's got past John Cutmore in the Cup 200 division, although it doesn't show that on your graphics or on the timing screens, but Richard Webb is in a Cup 200 car, and he's got ahead of John Cutmore. Looking for the double in Cup 200, had wins for Alistair Bolton, David Watson, Scott Mattel, John Cutmore, Mike Whiteman-Hayward, and now Richard Webb too. 6 different winners over the course of the season. Here though is the battle for the race victory. Ryan Yarrow versus Dan Clues through the Fogarty S's they come for the 7th time. We've still got the best part of half of the race to go.
Down towards the Melbourne hairpin, and this is the battle effectively for the lead of the race then. Ryan Yarrow, number 54, against number 2, Dan Clues. Dan Clues, long-time racer in the F1000 Championship. He was champion, I think, in 2020 in that. Been racing in the Mattel Sports 1000 for a couple of seasons now. Oh, and off the road, that's Mike Whiteman-Hayward, isn't it, I think?
Could be. No, 4.
It's the 4 car, beg your pardon, which is John Murphy, that's been off the road in Cup 200. So there's Clint Newman in the Tim Gray Motorsport Run Spire. He is leading on the road by 1.4 seconds, but needs to finish more than 10 seconds ahead if he's going to be classified first in the race, and it doesn't look like he's going to do that. Ryan Yarrow and Dan Clues second and third on the road, but they are effectively doing battle for the lead of the race, and there's not a lot to choose between them. Clues hasn't really been in a position to try anything in terms of a look up the inside or a lunge as yet. Slippery surface flagged out again. We've seen a lot of those this morning already. It's Yarrow and Clues. Yarrow, who prepares the car himself, privateer entry, so looking for his 4th championship. Clues in the Mattel and run car does have a bit of a half look up at the inside into Coppice Corner that time, but nothing came of it. They're heading down the straight towards the Fogarty S's. There's 7.25 minutes or so of the race left to go. Clues to the outside for Fogarty S's. Yarrow just taking the line, and that squeezes the opportunity out for Dan Clues on that occasion.
Whiteman-Hayward's got past Cutmore, by the way, in their battle in Cup 200 as this lead battle continues between Ryan Yarrow and Dan Clues. Clues in the 2022 Suzuki-powered Mattel. Yarrow...
We've got a safety car.
I think Mark Goodwin was off at the final corner, but he's got going now.
Yeah.
So as by this safety car, everybody's come through at the end of the previous lap. Whether it was called and then Goodwin recovered, not sure.
Sometimes it does happen that way, doesn't it? And
or something's happened on
safety car restart yesterday. Safety car is in, green flag is waved, and the race gets back underway. We've got Carl Austin and Chippy Westmail right behind him now. Yarrow is going for the lead on the road as well. Doesn't necessarily need to do this. Looking to go on the outside line at Redgate Corner, but in the end that nothing comes of that, or does it? This row up on the inside of Clint Newman through Hollywood. And we've got a race on our hands for the lead once more. It looked like Chippy Westmail had got ahead of Paddy. Yes, he had. So Chippy Westmail, don't rule him out for the win here.
Maybe he was last at one point and he could win this. The former champion will be taking a lot of liberties with the track there on the exit of the old hairpin. There's Chippy Westmail, who was a winner in British GT here 4 years ago in GT4. Here comes Clues for the lead of the race. In reality, up the inside of Ryan Yarrow. They're side by side. It's going to be free abreast, possibly on the way up to Coppice if Wesmail's got a good enough run. He hasn't quite. He's following his teammate Clues on the inside line, who is wheel to wheel with Ryan Yarrow. So they turn out of Coppice corner. Clues is through. He's taken the lead, looking for his second win of the season. With Yarrow in behind, but the car ahead, that's got a penalty, so it isn't being factored in to our lead battle. And Wesmail trying to follow his Mattel teammate through, can't quite get there. That could help Clues get away on this part of the track.
Yeah, looks like it has done. Wesmail's not been able to get past in the sort of black and gold Mattel ahead of the green and gold spire of Ryan Yarrow. So it's Dan Clues, number 2 now, that leads the race then effectively from number 54, Ryan Yarrow in second place, and then third place is number 29, Chippy Wesmail. He's also got the fastest lap of the race to his credit at 1:37.400. A spin for number 69, which is Ian Hutchinson on the exit of the Melbourne hairpin, but they come across the line and there's time for 2 more laps in this race. It's Newman leading on the road, Clues second, and he's got about 0.8 of a second over Ryan Yarrow as they go on to this penultimate lap of the race. But now Wesmail's got a penalty, which we're going to assume, I think, is going to be for exceeding track limits.
He was very wide at the old hairpin,
5-second penalty.
So we saw that happen in time, I think, that when that penalty would be assessed. So Cole Austin back on for a podium perhaps here. So Dan Clues looking for win number 2 of the season, getting away from Ryan Yarrow. He was 8 tenths ahead at the start of the lap. This is our penultimate lap of the season. Cup 200 being led by Richard Webb, Mike Whiteman Hayward second, but Cutmore behind him on the road, looking good for the championship in that particular category. Is that Austin running wide? This could give Colin Chapman a position. If Chapman's close enough to those ahead, this could give him the podium.
Which he doesn't want, because that would then rule him out of Sporting Cup, and that would make Charlie Slavin, I think, but I would need to check that he hadn't been passed by anybody else. But it's side by side between Yarrow and Chippy Wesmail. Wesmail with that 5-second penalty to be added to his time at the end of the race, and he's having a good exit out of the Fogarty. Yes, he's going to get alongside. He's going to be on the inside line for Melbourne Hairpin. You'd think he'd make it through here, but who's going to be later on the brakes? They're absolutely together as they go into the corner, but it's Chippy Wesmail that goes through for position on the road.
It's like Chapman's under threat for that position from Cole Austin, so that's continuing. So that's the only real battle, isn't it, for position out of these 3 battles up front, because otherwise there's all penalised drivers up across the line. Clint Newman leads on the road. Chapman has been repassed by Cole Austin. Daniel Ashby's going well. He's right in there behind. Ashby's best result this year has been a 6th. He could repeat that here. He's within 10 seconds of the leader. So through Hollywood, down the crane of curves we go for one last time. Wesmail getting away from Yarrow. It almost feels like Yarrow's kind of given up on this race a little bit. There he is. He's going to be the champion though. I don't think he's been caught up in anything he didn't want to be in this race. In 54, the 2017 ex-Billy Allbone Spire.
So here is Yarrow then turning his way out of McLean's up towards Coppice. He's 4th on the road here now. In reality, that's going to be 2nd in the classification, which is more than enough with the result yesterday to really confirm his championship title. Down towards us now, Dan Clues is not a million miles away from the back of Clint Newman's car as they come into the Fogarty S's for the final time. Doesn't need to go past him, so should probably just sit in behind Clint Newman for the last couple of corners. Dan Clues looking for his 2nd win of the season. He's had several podiums, I think 8 podiums before today, so been a regular inside the top 3 in that Mattel. So Clint Newman heading up towards Goddard's for the final time, but Dan Clues following him through, and he gets the car sorted out. He's going to be passed by Chippy Wesmail, but of course he's got a 5-second penalty as well. So on the run to the line, it's Dan Clues that takes the win. 2nd place goes to Ryan Yarrow by 1.9 seconds, and it's side by side a bit further back, and it's just going to be Carl Austin. I think that, hold on, no it's not, it's Colin Chapman by what was that, 200ths of a second, that will be 4th in the end, so not impacting his Sporting Cup standings, ahead of Carlos and then Clint Newman. And then what's happened in Cup 200, Josh?
Mike Whiteman Hayward is slow out of the final corner, but Richard Webb and John Cutmore ahead of him anyway. So John Cutmore for the 4th time is a class champion in this type of racing under different guises.
Yes.
So congratulations to John Cutmore. but it was Richard Webb who wasn't for a track limit penalty.
Newman was classified 6th there, so I'll work out some points in a minute. Dan Clues, after 12 laps, the race winner in car number 2 by 1.975 seconds from Ryan Yarrow in 2nd place. 3rd was number 29 Chippy Westmail. 4th was 63 Colin Chapman. 5th was 44 Carl Austin. 6th was 42 Clint Newman, winner on the road, but he had that 10-second penalty. 7th to number 33 Daniel Ashby. 8th to 46 Charles Wright. Richard Webb, number 88, won in Cup 200. He was 9th overall, ahead of John Cutmore, who took the Cup 200 title, and Mike Whiteman Hayward, 3rd of those cars, ahead of Chris Wilkinson, Ian Hutchinson and Wayne Armsden. Further back down the order,
just to say, Ian, on the last lap, Chippy Westmail equalled Scott Mattel's lap record, 1 minute 36.48.
Okay, impressive going. 15th was Stephen Dean, 16th Alex Allure, 17th Mark Goodwin, John Murphy was 18th, and then the rest were non-finishers. Charlie Sladden and Rich Martin. Sad to say, Paul Rogers, the 2011 champion, a non-finisher on his final sports.